far off the issues and they're delusional, they don't really mean. But again, here we have decentralized governance and we have people within county governments from these same communities, same areas, and we look at their thinking and we still want to influence their decisions, they still remain the same as those who you thought they are far off. So the challenge here is for us as researchers, as academics, how can we have them to move to this view of ours, to see things from the perspective that we see from our research outputs. And this is one challenge that IDS for sure has to keep on tackling, I would say.
I hear us talking a lot about financial resources and alternative resources, which I clearly understand. Without money, there's no institute. You can't thrive. But I also believe when we focus too much on funding, then you might have a lot of funding, but you also will not thrive. So that's why I want to build on the company of Professor in the back, they actually invite us to start thinking what is happening in the world, what is the future we envision, and what is the role a centrist IDS would like to play in that. And then the second question is, how do you want to fund an agenda like that? I would invite IDS to do it in that order and to put the money first.
Not sure whether I will be in cross purpose with Sarah, but money is a bloodline of institutions. So while you might think about what else moves the institution, it's also useful to think about when I check your blood count and I find your blood count is very low. So which one bothers you the most? So I agree with her to some extent. You have to first of all ground yourself on what you want to exist to do. Then ask yourself what more would you like to do, and I think that is a big question. What can we continue? What can we do more of? What can we do less of? What else do we pick along the way? Because of a very dynamic world where expectations, needs vary all the time. May I remind us that if you look at the room, if you call this meeting again in a month's time, or in 2 months, 3 months time, the audience is going to be of a much lower age bracket. And that's a possibility. So the question is that agility to start to respond to short-term concentration, very short-term needs of small businesses, very short-term needs of young and still very organizations that need to learn the same focus you already have on those who don't have a whole year for a course, for some you only have a 2 days or a month. But there are also those who do not need complex learning. They just want to get insights, which they can be able to. So that flexibility, that agility, that responsiveness, market orientation, moving with the changing demand is what ideas need to reflect on the mirror with and see how much of that is success. Finally, on the AI and the technology question, you can easily have, I don't know what was suitable last night, because I'm not a teacher, I used to be, but I stopped, is, how can you support learning in large numbers if you don't have that support and technology? I am attending a class now by a group of professors from Harvard University. It comes every Tuesday. Not Tuesdays, every Thursday, and it's for 1.5 hours. And I see 600 plus people in the webinars or the seminar. Can you imagine if they were focused on very short learning cycles and They were enabling those who cannot reach the value that IDS has, can be able to reach it even at a percentage of only 40 out of 100. And if they were paying for it at $10 per webinar or per seminar, you already have an income stream. So I was watching Afrobarometer here earlier on, and I'm asking myself how much of the world in Kenya knows about Afrobarometer. And IDS has been involved in it for years, decades. So it's just that is where we are talking about dynamism. We are not saying change your DNA. We are saying be dynamic, be agile, you know, connect with those who need this information and make us understand what are we buying from you, and you'll keep us glued to you. Like the way Linda says, young people are now glued to YouTube. You know, for you to remember YouTube when you're sitting in this podium, it means you use it for the abuse, isn't it? So why are we not there? You know? Yeah, so my last comment is the fundraising question is still a big deal. And I don't feel that we've put in enough time on it. But fundraising is a big question because eventually once you discover what you want to do, and you took a retreat and came back to exactly the same place, you need resources to be able to get that done. And if you cannot spend enough time there, have enough people like IDS whose focus is only this, and I want to answer for, she asked me, Tom, would you rather I come as IDS to give a service to ACT, or would I come as Professor Kamau, or Sarah, Professor Sarah, or Professor Butula? I am saying I will be much more comfortable if you came as IDS, because it gives me a reference point. You see, it grounds your service to me, and I can use it as a reference and say, if you don't trust IDS, then who else will you trust? That's the point. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there are very many interesting issues which we could spend time on, but we don't have that particular time. Maybe some of these will be the subject of other ideas. I think ideas moving forward need to embrace, to continue to embrace and strengthen knowledge and citizen driven agenda in development. That is very, very crucial. Knowledge and citizen agenda in development is very crucial, which is anchored in the reality of the country where we are, and also African reality, because IDS is not only national, but also has a perspective, regional perspective. I think that anchoring of that reality, understanding it and coming with a view is very, very important. Coming to issues which relate to the institution itself, it is important, as it was indicated yesterday, that we should safeguard the autonomy of IDS as a center of excellence, which set agenda, and the agenda is not for set for it, which set research agenda for itself based on the citizens' requirements and the aspirations of the people. The second thing is that it's question of leadership of ideas. We have noticed over years, over 60 years, stability of leadership, clear succession line has helped us get quality leadership this is required. And if we were even academics that we have not had really deeply when it comes to leadership. It is important the leadership we have is visionary, is very clear, has legitimacy, and has acceptance not only at the university, but outside the university, in the private sector, in the policy-making sector. And this has been a very major strength of ideas in the past. Durham guy would speak to Kibaki to Tom Boyer, and so on. And a few other people could speak to the people who have power in this country. It is important that we speak to the power and the value of research. I want also to say competence of the researchers is very, very important in terms of your selection of your researchers from junior research fellow all the way to other levels. This is very, very important. We have built the reputation of this institution for only recruiting good junior researchers who have risen the ranks to be what we need. That is very, very important for this institution. And this should not be limited to your graduate students, but you should be university-wide and also capture the talent outside University of Nairobi through other universities. And this is really very important. And finally, I would like to say IDS needs to have presence, visibility in councils and the places where money is being divided, where the meat is being actually shared. You don't wait for the meat to be shared and then you are given a piece which you don't like. Let us actually make ourselves visible and present in councils for money. Therefore, cultivating the relation with the treasury, with the county leadership, and so on, so that we can be able to get the resources we do require. And that visibility should be based on good quality research and data. And our comments should not be idle. It should be based on good research. That is how we get research. And finally, I want to say, excellence, change, and renew. Let that be your shield.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, my panelists. Can we give a hand of applause to my panel? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very, very, very much. I can say four words. Our basket is full. IDS basket is full. From yesterday to today, the basket is full. We've had suggestions, the reflections that you've given us on what we should do, in particular Tom, some of the insights you are giving on how we what we ought to engage in, including issue of short courses. There are some years we used to have short courses, and I think that voice of short courses is quite loud, especially in this era of technology. Is something we need to look into, and we also hear about how our research should get out there. Issue of visibility. How should we package our work so that our work is seen there? And the last one, which we are being told, be at the table, Professor Kamau. Don't wait for meat to be that you got a kilo or half a kilo and then you start complaining. Just sit where they are giving people the kilos, then you leave with the entire bowl. So we are being given quite a number of good tips, and I think we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do, and this was what it was intended in this last session, that we get the basket full, and then in a retreat or in our own way first, we will synthesize what has come out here, put them in different streams, and then hopefully we'll call a smaller team again at an internal level, because I don't think we need to waste this basket full. We need to use these insights of the 2 days to really have a critical examination of what we do and how we can do better. And even in terms of new concepts, the whole debate since yesterday about how we are not on board. This morning we were told about the interpretive community. Where do we stand in the interpretive community? Are we the ones that are still waiting to get a new language and therefore cannot come up and coin new concepts? Will our students continue reading the old books that structured things very differently? We need to come up with new concepts. And I also always tell our master students that don't wait to talk about Chicago school, the famous Chicago school of thought. Let's also hear the schools of thought in the South, and they exist. And the thing is, when we try to come up with new lenses and concepts, we start fearing. We draw back. And there was a time I reached in my life at one time when I thought my students should not read literature. I think I was getting crazy because I was saying, maybe if you want to write a proposal, just use your brain first, then read. Because students bring things and they are extracts from other people, but they are not synthesized. So I thought probably if they start from blue, then they will have new concepts and have new theories. But it doesn't happen that way. We were told here this morning that you can only build knowledge, you only build on what you have. And what we have is literature. So we get back to which literature are we reading? Does it really inform us in a way that we can bring change? And last but not least, some definition was brought here. Was it yesterday or today of change, of development? What was it? What was the definition of development? You are not good students. It was what? Change and power. So change and power, and I think that's where we study. We study, we study the environment, we study people, we study institutions, and as we do that, there are changes occurring. And within it, there is the power equation that determines whether Professor Kamau gets the whole bull or whether he gets a kilo. We need to be there, and that's the last comment that is calling upon us to be on table and not to wait to be called to table. You have to look for that table. Power is about just claiming space. Nobody gives it. So thank you very much. I want to get it back to the others. I hope we didn't bypass time so much. We tried.
Thank you so much, bro. All right, please don't leave the stage yet. Great, we have some gift hampers that are to be shared or handed to the panel. We appreciate the work that you've done. As they bring the gifts, we can all attest and see that IDS has come so far, but the journey ahead is even longer, quite unwinding, and it requires all of us. Like I always say that, there exists lots of communities of interest, and IDS has got to reach and influence all of them. So Professor Kamau has got so much work to do to lead IDS. Perhaps we take a photo for the panel first. Professor. Linda. Then Professor Sarah. All right, thank you so much. Great. Thank you so much. You may take leave. Yeah. So we move to the next event. I remember it's Professor Chinua Achebe, the late, who said that proverbs are the almoin with which words are eaten. And in matters, education, matters, research and development, I think I can say that knowledge is the pulmoin with which intellect is eaten. And for that reason, we have got a distinguished professor who's very charitable, and the wings of charity have flown him here. He's ready and willing to do a book donation to IDS. I would like to invite Professor Michael Chege. In the current times, very few people can constantly keep citing or quoting Plato and Aristotle and all the antiquated greats. Professor Chege, Chinua Achebe as well.
I've been here first as a student at the University College Nairobi, and then coming on to graduate studies and teaching and professorship. I have would have wanted some of my former students to be here with me. Professor Mitula, please. And Professor Kandi Munguti is just left. And Professor Karuti left. Please, you represent them. I am giving back books I used to teach at this university, starting the Institute for Development Studies, Department of Government, Diplomacy, International Studies, Institute for Development Studies as a foundation. And I just wanted to say this. From books come ideas. Out goes the teaching, comes back knowledge. That knowledge comes into growth, into development. It's very easy to say that. It takes time. You get to my age and you realize it really does work. Look at this.
Thank you, thank you.
And I just mentioned this because I can remember exactly where I was seated when Professor Winnie, then a postgraduate student, a little bit unsure about what you wanted to do for the first degree, graduate degree, came and spoke about Nairobi urban politics. At that time, rural development and rural issues were the issues. And she wanted to look at that age, at the cent. And I said, I know a little bit, and most people in the department think that. So let us both pretend we know. But you are going to do the field work. And that is how we started. And as you can see now, as you had recognized in our country as a leading authority, urban politics, development, and particularly engendering the subject that is nobody else has done. Professor Karuti Kanyinga, same in his area. You have mentioned as an authority on politics and development, and of land politics and effects on development policy. Professor Kandi just worked out, pioneered the field of medical anthropology in our country. And again, she just came and said I remember sitting with her, just about to sit, and she'd been an undergraduate of ours. She said, I've been to Kitui and watched this disease. And I think the manner in which it rises and falls is influenced by social factors. It's not things you're going to put into a lab and detect. There are things you observe and ask people questions. Look at the way they live, mothers and daughters, elders and community, and you're going to get the answer there. Medicine and anthropology. She went to UCLA to study that, she's now one of the leading authorities in that. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Secretary of Health in America is telling the people there, let us go back to nature and stop vaccination, it is anti-science and rather foolish to say, and they're doing it. But you understand that if they really want to know that relationship, they'll have to come here and study. And Dr. Kaendi is person. This is how books have helped me understand some of the issues we deal with. The IGS library, when I started learning here, was a prime source of very profound work on development in general around the world, but also on Kenya. There are papers in Kenya that you cannot get anywhere else. I would like us to continue with that tradition because when I came here, I realized after a lot of years outside, I could still go back there and get some papers which were not available. We are lucky because some of the documents have been scanned by IDS Sussex under an exchange program, so you can call them online. But if you really want to get the real feeling of what was happening here in the 70s, 80s, and so on, go to the IDS library. It's still a wonderful collection. I picked up some of what I had, and I don't know whether the librarian is here, but there are a few things I want to see and that is just a small sample, don't be sick. The one thing which I really want to point out is a full set of the International Encyclopedia of Social and Behavioral Sciences. It's a complete set. We used to have the Social Science Encyclopedia at the IDS library, and it was a place where you could go and pick up these complex issues. These are some of the books, and you can see. And that said, it came into my hand because I was on the editorial board, just by chance, because they need to have an African scholar there, and I just happened to be around in the United States. So I became one of the editors. And I was not going to keep it to myself. But I looked at the price yesterday, $17,000 US. Where did it come from? This young generation, which my students have taught me now, use it for reference, and they'll wait for another generation to come here and talk about what they got from those books. I want to dedicate this collection to this generation of students that we taught. What generation is Professor Kabinki and Junior Natas? To be in the recollection, there's a memory of those happy days that we used books with respect and learning with respect. Not like today when people without any knowledge are coming to us to tell us about development and about our country, and they have not been to school to learn properly. They don't have a right. By not learning, they have abrogated their right to speak authoritatively on anything, even if they claim to be speaking on behalf of the people, because we know the methods of investigating whether and validating whether the people are being reflected rightly or wrongly by what they say. And you can only validate that and test it here. That is the role we play. I have, talking of memory, recall mentioned Professor Shemli Gotadola, Tamon Kangi, the late, all of us, Charles O'Keefe, Michael Cowan, a great scholar, who again said, help us reshape and rethink the paradigm of development in this country, together with Dr. Apollo Jonjo, who also worked in agriculture and land settlements. And again, opened up new areas of thinking, Wilfred Mwangi and others. And those, many others, who are still not with us at this place, but are still active in the rest of the world. I have in mind especially David Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, who serve both as a donor to this collection, to the ideas, to research, to work, and also to learning, and was himself an author, and he's still with us here. He's ailing, he's a neighbor of mine, and still very interested in what is happening to the institute and to the university. Corinne Lee, still active in the US, in the UK, trying to save the National Health Institute. What is it? Yeah, NIH in the United Kingdom, National Health Service, sorry. And Susan Mueller, who is retired in Boston. George Louis, who is not here, but I see him from time to time. Yete was speaking to us yesterday, Leo Moretti and others, who are all active supporters of ideas. There are many others like that. But I think, as a Chola Pala is active, yeah, I do run into her very often. And Professor Peter Anyangyo, who is very active as a governor, but still follows what is happening at the university, finds time to read and debate. And I enjoy sitting down with him. We don't talk about politics, we talk about books. Because this is books first. Then you have the foundation to start. Not the other way. I want to take this opportunity I give thank our library and our librarian for being very kind to come to my home to look and review whether it was rotten books or actually good books. That could be used by the staff. So I want to end there and say, look, books are more precious than gold. I guarantee you. You can't value what a good book is. When I was talking to Winnie in those days, and I recall, we were looking at the void, because when you went to the catalog, there was nothing. And you know there is nothing and justify because you look at the catalog, and what you obtain is nothing. You say, what comes closest is the following. And you say that on the protocol. Then you begin from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And on behalf of the Director of Library Information Services, I want to thank Professor Chege. Actually, he initiated the discussion. He invited us to his house, not once, actually twice, to be able to evaluate whatever was available there. And in my conversation with him, I was able to pick a few things that he felt those books are better placed at the university. Actually, what he did or what he's doing today is giving us his treasures, what he has been able to accumulate, not for 5 years, for so many years. And this is the second person who is inviting us to his house to be able to collect their treasures. The first person who invited me to his house was none other than Professor Okidi. He invited me to his house to be able to look at what is available. He donated volumes of books, and they are available at our Parklands Library. Take note, that man even had a will written that all his books should be taken to none other than the University of Nairobi. We really appreciate that. The total number of books that we will be able to get from Professor Chege is about 200. We are processing them to be able to support the course mandate of the University of Nairobi research. I picked a lot here about competent research. It has to be anchored on quality information sources.
Thank you so much, Professor. It is Socrates who said that, and I quote, "I know that I'm intelligent because I know nothing," end of quote. I've learned a lot these 2 days, and IDS has got so much to teach us, and we've learned so much as well when we sit beneath such a mguma tree that Professor Chege and many other professors are. And I think I heard the librarian talk about Parkland School of Law. As an alumnus of this university, particularly Parkland School of Law, it's been my fortune and great pleasure to serve as Master of Ceremony in this very historic day. And as long as the codes of memory lengthen, this day and its events will remain very historic. I think looking at the program, as we are nearing the tail end, it's the moment to engage in or speak to the communique, which we appreciate the work of the very diligent rapporteurs. So as I said in the morning, all the issues have been put or aligned thematically, and the final report output of this anniversary will be processed by a team of rapporteurs, and the leadership of IDS will get to take the work forward. But in terms of the way forward, just 3 things that I will speak to or mention. One is the collective research activity and the connecting with policy. That is safeguarding IDS's independence from political and donor influence. Strengthening the link between research, teaching, and policy making at the national and global spaces. Reinstating IDS as a national and continental hub for evidence-based policy guidance. Issue number 2, embedding African agency and contextual thinking. The issue under that is institutionalizing the colonized African-led frameworks that value local knowledge and languages. The example is punishing a child for speaking mother tongue in school should be considered as abuse. Then supporting community-driven research that reflects reimagining partnerships for equity and impact. Issues under that is transition from hierarchical donor models to co-create South-South and intra-African collaborations, to develop ethical partnership principles grounded in transparency, reciprocity, and solidarity. Way forward, issue number 4, revitalizing interdisciplinary learning and mentorship. The critical aspects under that is promoting cross-disciplinary engagement between social sciences, technology, and environmental studies. Second, establishing structured mentorship and capacity building programs for emerging scholars, emphasizing gender inclusion. Way forward, issue number 5, leveraging on technology and artificial intelligence responsibly. Under that, we have harnessing digital tools for participatory research and citizen engagement, and then critically examining the ethical, political, and epistemic implications of AI for autonomy and control. Lastly, but not least, way forward, issue number 6, the institutional renewal and visibility of IDS. Redefining IDS's identity as both a think tank and an intellectual home for transformative ideas. Secondly, to enhance public engagement through policy dialogues, publications, and partnerships. It was said by Professor Malu himself that a world-class institution must have people. Ladies and gentlemen, cometh the moment and the hour and the man himself. It is my pleasure now to invite Professor Kamau to move the vote of thanks.
I want to greet all of you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon again. Thank you. You will agree with me that this has been a very engaging session. It has been very informative, and thank you very much, Javas, for the community that has very able made some key way forward in terms of where we go after this particular session. I just request one of our colleagues here to come over and I'll say one word about you. Just come. Right? When my senior former directors were speaking here, and especially Professor Kabiru, you heard him say that there's a lot of uniqueness in ideas. Why I want that there's a clear road. I'm not campaigning for any position or seat, but I remember when I joined IDS in 2001, I think I remained like the baby of the institute for almost 6 years, because the next recruitment was of Anne Kamau, who joined us in 2007, 2008, then rather. So we have our youngest baby in the institute. When did you say you joined? And that's Herbert Wamalwa. You can see he's with Gen Z bordering on Gen Y, I think Y or X, right? So please, Herbert, I wanted you to just come and say hi to this congregation, so that I know maybe you've not talked a lot, but very instrumental and helpful. As we grow 60 years, he's our baby, right? As we celebrate this day, we want to really thank you for believing in IDS and wanting to join among many other options perhaps you had to come and be part of the faculty in the Institute for Development Studies. Herbert is also working with me in a program we are running on a very experimental role called Global Challenges, and he has picked it very, very well. So as our last one for the moment, please come and say hi and say whether you still want to be the last born or there are room for others to come and join us. Please. I know I am.
Thank you very much, Professor Paul Kamau. Good evening, colleagues and friends. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. I have been sitting here since yesterday, listening to the conversations and soaking in all the knowledge, the debates, and the wisdom. And this really continues to say to me that in 2007, when I came back to the university as a graduate student at IDS, after having worked a few years in the NGO sector, that I made the right decision. So I joined in 2007, and for 2 years, I went through, at that time, the Masters of Arts in very engaging, a very unique process. The learning, the theory, but also very important, the practice. To be introduced as a graduate student to conceptualize, that last semester, to think about what is going around as a student of development, to conceptualize a problem, come up with a proposal, defend it before your peers, and the faculty go out and do some field work, come and defend your report, and then to graduate. That was quite different, the approach of IDS. So in 2007, when I finished my master's, I said to my supervisor that time that I think I love what I have seen here, and I don't want to stop at this point. I'd be very happy to come back to continue with the PhD program. And so we built a community, we had a mailing list, and we kept getting opportunities for scholarships, for projects. That's why I applied when there was a chance to recruit PhD students to be part of a research project at IDS. So that's how I came back as a PhD student, and then also as a project assistant, like many of my colleagues who have also been part of the preparation for this event, project assistants. I remember we used to have lots of debates with Professor Kanyinga, even in terms of how do you define a project assistant. Is he or she an administrative staff, and support staff? Because there is a way when you write, for instance, on your CV, that you worked as a project assistant at the university for, let's say, 3 years. People who do not have the orientation of research may not appreciate what that means. And so one time, I remember Professor Karuti Kanyinga sitting us down and making us to understand that actually that is an academic position. So you need to be proud of it, because you do so much apart from just the admin. You are actually the engine of research projects. So you know, those are the kind of experiences that we have gone through, and I'm most grateful. I came in as a master's student when Professor Jama was our director at that time. We transitioned to Professor Winnie Mitula. She held our hands. We transitioned during my PhD to Professor Karuti Kanyinga. He held our hands. And then now to Professor Paul Kamau, who was also my supervisor at my PhD. So I am very grateful, Prof. This is a place that I am very much at home. I have learned so much. IDS has introduced me to networks. I have traveled this world. Thanks to the mentorship and the support of it's really rewarding. This is personal also for me to attend these celebrations. I'm a witness of the change that Professor Alila talks about, the change and the transformation that can happen to young people who have the dreams to also pursue academia. So I'm most grateful, and to the elders who have spoken to us today. You really inspire us, and we look to you. We hope that a few years from today, we can also take a fraction of what you have been able to demonstrate that you can give to us. So thank you very much, Prof, and for the support.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to say this, that there's future, there's sustainability in ideas. How many of us are current ideas students? Please stand up wherever you are. There's hope. Sometimes we're talking of unemployment among the youth, we're talking of joblessness, but your resilience and commitment and remaining in ideas can be the key. Is it Professor Anila who talked over here and a part of yes, right. Please let's appreciate these current students in ideas. So one day you can be here and also get to any position you are not in. Please take this, and thank you very much. That's part of my vote of thanks that I'm moving, and the rest I'll go very, very quickly. We're very grateful for all of you. You know, as I said yesterday when we were starting, we organized this particular meeting under very strenuous and difficult circumstances. The difficulty was that in January this year, we were celebrating another icon who was the founding secretary of Akodesia, Professor Buju. And I remember meeting in that event, which was in another room, maybe on the fourth floor of this building, discussing with Professor Chege, Professor Kanina, and we remember and all of a sudden, Professor Chege said, you know, you should be reaching 60 this year. It was in the new, at the beginning of the year or mid-January. Listen to that. Right? So it was also a time when I was just getting into the office, and therefore I didn't know where to begin. We needed to have a rollout for the outgoing director. We planned around May, requiring resources. We are working in an environment where resources are scarce, and this scarcity is getting worse by day. So we needed to put our heads together for where we get money from this thing. And we planned a very major event, and then as we were struggling with the resources, and we thought a plan with my committee. In fact, the committee that organized Professor Aruti Kanyinga rollout, we agreed we will be the ones to begin this event. So I would say from around March, this particular team has been meeting every week. First of all, to organize for Professor Kanyinga's rollout party, and then immediately, in fact, in our meeting, we transitioned to July to begin plans for this event. When we thought we had gotten it, we had promises for resources, and then the strike is here with us. Very constraining in terms of the numbers, become like COVID pandemic. You can only bring this number of people, not everybody will work. One of the conditions was you must limit the number of students you bring into that event of yours, because we don't want to have a sign that will indicate like things are running normally in the university. So with this, allow me to thank first and foremost the committee that has been working and deliberating into having this event. Please, if you're here, Olala, I don't know, Evelyn, where is the team? They are still outside. Please, Winnie, you're that part of that. Please, let's stand up, those of us who are here, because it's your brain and effort that has made this event a very successful. Please, stand up. Dr. Mishuki, I see you. In this committee, we had a technical committee, we had a finance and resource mobilization committee, we had the overall logistics and planning committee. We are almost 12 of us, or 14. I can be losing the count. Some of them are in the welcoming table, but we all met religiously every Thursday in the morning or in the afternoon, in the evening, at night, in order to plan for this event. I want us to put our hands together for this team. Thank you very much. Please feel appreciated. I know you've been seeing them moving. Eunice, Evelyn, Grace, Olutayo, Dr. Mishuki, I see Dr. Wamalwa, I see Sam Blongo, Professor Mitula, Daniel, our communication expert, and Ken, the finance man. Did you stand? I didn't see. I know it's because you don't want to be asked for money. This is the money man in IDS, right? He's part of that team. I hope I've not forgotten someone else who is there. Douglas Wanja here. Thank you very, very much for all this support, and we're truly grateful. Number two, let me appreciate all of you. You have been with us, very committed. Against all odds, including not knowing whether this event would happen, you stood with us. You believed in us. I want to really appreciate you and to say thank you very much. When we started yesterday, and even the night before yesterday, we were not sure who was going to come. In our confirmation list, we had almost 500 badges that we printed, but due to activities and perhaps other engagement, not everybody made it. But we're very grateful for your vision. Please, let's appreciate ourselves. You would agree with me that this event has been very, very lively, engaging, and intellectually stimulating. I want to, in a very special way, thank our keynote speaker and our speaker for the day, today. So Professor Sam Hickey, we reached out to him in summer, and at first his emails were not going through, but we weren't sure what was happening, but we had said he's our number one. I'm very happy that his response to our call was that I will be ready. Thank you very much. Professor Hickey, we don't take this for granted, that you came all the way from the UK, and you know this is the time semesters are beginning, and a lot of commitment because he had a very instrumental institution called Global Development Institute, right? GDI. To be with us here. And from this committee, please come over. We did a IDS, but the committee found important to get we have online, I believe, maybe Professor Sam McIntyre, all the way again from Australia. And when we are actually we never tried twice. All our targets. Many of the speakers and facilitators, I don't want to go through the program, but again, we drew a program and said, these are the people we are hoping to do different activities within the program. The panel members, presenters, and panel coordinators, you have done us proud. The way this workshop or this conference has run, you'll agree with me, it was a top-notch. A clear indication, even without fanfares, that we are celebrating a milestone. Please, let's put our hands together for all those who did this wonderful work of preparing and coordinating different projects. Wow, Java, you're great. You are great. The way you have run this conference, I think we will never go anywhere else. You can now consider yourself part of IDS because we will be calling on you. And I remember Javas, even when we first talked, it's not like many other people that you call in town to coordinate an event, and the first thing is, how much are you on money? Right? I want to surprise you that we received earlier in our Just Search, someone saying that they can only come if they are paid 350,000 per 2 hours. So you look at that, we don't have resources, and that's what people have mentioned in the street. So we said, at this rate, we are going to be the MCs, we are going to do everything for us. But something came into my mind, and I said, I think I have a friend who I think can do this one. Let me just give a call. And as I said, Java, even now, we've not talked of any payment because he's part and parcel of IDS. So please give him a good round of applause. Because he understood our challenges, especially in terms of resource mobilization. We truly grateful. We have a team of rapporteurs led by Mary. We have Raphael. We have Jerry. I'm just calling in the order you are seated. And then Claire Okidi. Thank you for that communique that you have even put together in a short time. We believe we're going to have a very good report for this workshop. Please let us appreciate them. In a midst of resource constraint, we approached many partners for support. Everyone is crying about lack of resources. But some partners really say, we may not have much. As you plan for your low-key, low-budget event, please, we will work with we will see whatever we can have in our kitty to support you. So when the going was very tough, we had to retreat and ask ourselves, it's our event. We cannot entirely depend on external sources. And this is a debate that we have had this evening about what can you bring on the table. So as ideas, we said we will look internally first, so that even as we go to borrow, we will be saying we are borrowing, but we can provide cooking pots, right? So I want to thank my colleagues here who are heading different projects because they believe in this call and offered some people foregoing their fieldwork money to put the first resources that we raised for this event. And it was quite a big budget in excess of some million. So ideas put in the first. Allow me to mention different funders who have made this event possible. Besides ideas, we have received a lot of support from CRDD. Dr. Wario is here. Can you imagine, I was talking to him yesterday. We thought that resources should only come from Nairobi to the rural. You can see the reversal of roles. Thank you very much, Dr. Wario. We have African Leadership Center. Please clap for them. We have ACT. Tom was here, also believed in our dream and enable us to have this event in some way. We have Afrobarometer. Please, colleagues from Afrobarometer, they have been here, they have talked, and Afrobarometer was kind enough, even in saying, we are bringing our people, right? So we thank you very, very much, Bonnie and Edward, for creating time even to be here, because it's one thing to be nominated, and a totally different thing to say, I will honor that. So you could have done it back, right? So we don't take it for granted. Please pass our presentation to Afrobarometer Secretariat for this. We have Forum Steve. Yesterday we saw Jackson, who was here with us. They also put in our kitty. Please appreciate them. We have also VREF through Transport Project in ideas. They gave us good resources to enable this. I have just learned this morning, this afternoon, that University of Nairobi Alumni Association, they came here and they saw, as you meet, you need water. I don't know how many cartons of water they brought, but some of the water we have here is a donation from Alumni Association of the University of Nairobi. Please appreciate it. Here is a shocker. Asuasu is struggling with the strike and trying to demonstrate so that university professors can have a better way of working. We also say, you are our partner. And they also said they were going to, amidst all these crises, they were going to support this cause. Please appreciate UASU, the Secretary General and the Chairman and the leadership for this effort. Let me thank the ID staff. As you heard me say yesterday, we are declining by numbers due to retirement and other attrition, but the few we are working very collegial, and as a team. I could not have delivered this alone as the director. Your effort, support, and even prayers did a lot in helping this event to be what they are. I'm sure there are only a few, perhaps, our colleagues who are here due to other commitments. I know, like our colleague Dr. Ann Kamau is in Indonesia, South Africa. Pascaline, who contacted most of you on email, is away in the US, and they are part and parcel of us. They are still supporting even when they are out there. We have a team of ambassadors. That's the new terminology that I've learned also. These are our students and friends who have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to ensure that the event is well coordinated. Please, Olutayo, you know them, please pass my appreciation to them and everyone. We have, once we say once ideas, always ideas, we have our colleagues in university have decided to move them elsewhere, but they remain our colleagues. Please stand up. I see Nina, I see, oh God, stand up, all of you. Bayo, you are part of us, right? Daktari, please stand. Oh, Eunice, thank you very, very much. We appreciate your support. Even Lucy, I don't know where she was, but we gave her a bunch of letters to send, and she did that for us. Thank you very, very much. Allow me to thank my past directors, all of you, Professor Michael Chege, Professor Akabiro, Professor Alira here, Professor Willie Mutula, Professor Kalinga, all of them, they've been very supportive. Ideas, you don't work in isolation, or you can always go for counsel and support, including when we're doing this. We reach to these friends, colleagues, and we say, give me a role. I remember Professor Nether saying, as long as you're not telling me to go back to write a paper, I will do any other role. So was Professor Alila here. He said, don't ask me to write a paper, but any other role in the event, I will do. So thank you very, very much for setting those good standards of collegial and support to the young generation. We want to thank our ushers, exhibitors, our WOSWA, and others, including Riyadh. We have clear tables of exhibition. We thank you for displaying your materials in this particular event. University of Nairobi, in as much as we are crying for independence, remains our mother or our father. So the university allowed us to use many facilities in preparation for this event. Most importantly, being allowed to use this hall is not a main feat. So on behalf of the IDS, I want to thank the University of Nairobi management for again listening to our call. I'm informed that this hall, to hire it for a day, the market value from the university is about 500,000. So you get this for free amidst many other demands, but through corporate affairs, Nekesa had seen her here, and the Vice Chancellor, they allowed us to use it for free. Because we want to generate resources, but again, they understood our situation and allowed us to use this facility, among many others, within the towers for free. We don't want to claim, but we take that as a very kind gesture. You saw yesterday that we had the entire management here with us, from the Vice Chancellor, DVCs, and all the Dean, Faculty of Art. We thank them so much for gracing this event. Please, let's give them a round of applause. The tower has a department that is deals with the, it's called Tower Management Team, led by Benja. Benja, I see you somewhere. Your whole team, we are very grateful for all the facilitation. I know on Tuesday night, some members left here at past 10 to ensure that everything was set. So we thank you and your team, the personnel that you are working with, the security team, the cleaning team. We are very happy for the service they have rendered to us. We have other service providers led by our ICT team, the photography. Chege and your team, we are very grateful for the service. Except the national anthem, I think we need to improve on that, but feedback is good. Let's reveal it. It almost made us this morning run away from this hall, right? Yesterday it failed, then today it came with a bang. So please, let's address that, but we are very happy. The level of sound, technology, and even display has been very great. So that's just but one of the hitches, but ideally, the media team will be exceptionally well. We have social media team that is working to ensure that we can, in a very small way, also get this out. I'm very happy. Afrobarometer is actually flagging this event more than we are doing from here. So that's very nice. The use of social media, we truly grateful. The catering services has been provided by Central Catering Unit, CCU as we call it, and we are very grateful. Although there were some details here and there, eventually we either granting, we had lunches, and you will attest to me that since they don't have a kitchen here, they have to make food in the kitchen across the road and bring the food here. It's not a simple logistical issue, and they have delivered. Please, let's appreciate them as I also convey a word of thanks. To the Corporate Affairs Department of the University of Nairobi, led by Mr. John Orindi, we have Nekesa and others who have been populating this event, especially before the strike came in. We are truly grateful. So please, let's appreciate Corporate Affairs Division, and we need please convey our appreciation. We want to thank everybody. Maybe I have forgotten your name, I have not mentioned you, but we appreciate the role you played in making this event a huge success. So for everybody, those I've mentioned, those that I have not mentioned, Daniel over there, I don't know whether you are part of media, but just stand up because you deserve a special mention, because Daniel is the one who has done all the design of these materials that we have. He's the one coordinating between what the technical team has and what we want to produce. He's the one who has even been trying to get moments of verbatim quote from this conference. And again, he's doing this not part of his job description. He would be sitting here as part of Afrobarometer together with Sam, but they have agreed as to use them as the staff of Afrobarometer to provide service for the IDS at 60. We thank you very, very much, Daniel, for all the effort and commitment. Otherwise, we are coming to the end of this event. And as Winnie and Java said, our plate is full. You have given us a lot of information. And if anybody would purport that they will sit and summarize, after all this very rich discussion, you would be lying. We thank the discussions that have been very open. We thank you for the very engaging sessions, and we will retreat back and say, what can we draw from this report so that we can decide our journey, not only in the next 6 or 5 or 10 years, but to begin to visualize the ideas that will come to celebrate 100 years, 120 years. We might most likely not be there, but if we will, we want to see ideas growing in strength, in visibility, in terms of quality and the sense of excellence that we have, that has set us apart from many other institutions that are around. Please, let's appreciate ourselves for thinking. I think we will now stop at this. Oh, all right. Oh my goodness. I thought they are participants like ourselves, but sometimes it's good to mention because they sacrifice a lot. When we go for tea, we don't know what they are taking. When we go for lunch, we don't count them, but we expect their presence and contribution. So, and using their own network or bundles. When we are here, I hear there's a Wi-Fi that is running, so all these facilities they are not enjoying. Please, our online participants, in a very special way, please receive our gratitude and appreciation for sparing your time and really working with us in this journey from yesterday to today. We can't thank you enough. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for reminding me that Winnie and Douglas, when you're here, sometimes you don't know what a member is saying, whether they are yawning or they are speaking to you. but thank you for reminding me that we have participants who are on the other side. I'm also reminded that we need to thank the library and information science division of this university, because you have kept our treasures. The library works that in such a way that even materials that belong to IDS are cataloged within the university. And more importantly, for the donation we have received from Professor Michael Chege, you went out of your way. We just connected you, and you went, Mr. Mashari and your team, and you here is not just coming and dumping the books. They have to be cataloged and ensure that there is a system for propriety. So we thank you very, very much again for that special work and the special assignment for Professor Michael Chege that you have done on our behalf. Please give them a round of applause. Professor Chege, I said earlier, thank you for donating these materials to the university. We are very grateful. There could have been many other choices, including burning like we did after undergraduate. We used to have academic bonfire the last day of the exam, right? And would say and vow never to come back to this university, having survived maybe supplementaries. Yeah? We used to have rewards, right? All this repeat. So on the last day, would lit fire somewhere in the hall of halls of residence and say we're having an academic bonfire. Little did we know that within no time we will become here and we needed those books, but you remember where they went into ashes. So thank you very much for saying you want continuity of this knowledge. Please give him another round of applause. With this, we have now come to the end of this event, and I ask us to stand up. We don't want to keep you anymore, not because we mind, but we are cognizant of the fact that we've been sitting here, like yesterday we left almost at 7. I want us to stand, and again we say a prayer through our national anthem as we thank God, because it's through him that this has happened. Can we now do a better one? Chege, redeem your name, right? We can just do the national anthem, and that is our prayer to God. If you know the words, please, it's just a prayer that is designed to tell God our needs, right? Including justice, be our shield and defender. We talked of development as part of justice, right? So after that, we are free to leave. The hall is still open. Benja, please, we are not chasing people away. So I'm sure since we don't have classes, you may tell us that there's another event. The hall is open, I would believe, up to 6 o'clock. But depending on your schedule and at your pleasure, we will allow you to exit as we also network. Are we good now, Chege? I will not allow you to go until you say it's good. I don't know how you're going to test. All right. Thank you. You have done it. That's so nice and kind of you. Now we'll not say that it failed. Anyway, thank you very much. Let's continue networking as we also roll out depending on our schedule. Thank you very much.